Hello there guys, welcome to another of my live videos, and on this video there is lots to negotiate about. I am going to be giving you an update on some more transfer news, keeping you up to date of what players are linked with Manchester United like I do on a regular basis. So let's delve now into the topics. So I am going to be giving you some latest news on Jack Grealish. After that, I'm going to be giving you some latest news on Corentin Tolisso from Bayern Munich. Then I'm going to be giving you a bit more additional information on Pogba. Then I'm going to be talking with you a bit more about Jadon Sancho. Then I'm going to be talking with you about Halland and that. So that's what I'm going to be negotiating with you about on this video. So let's start with the news on Jack Grealish. So I have just been reading reports in regards to Jack Grealish, and this is stemming from the Mirror. I know the Mirror isn't really a reliable source, but they reportedly said that Villa won £80 million for Jack Grealish if he is to be sold this summer. And even if Aston Villa are to be relegated, then Villa, still want £80 million. So they still do remain ruthless over their valuation. Now, obviously, our stance on Jack Grealish is that it said the other week, we hope we can sign Jack Grealish for £50 million. We hope we can sign him for £50 million. Now, obviously, Jack Grealish has had a long-running transfer saga, and I can probably assure that if Aston Villa do get relegated anyway, Jack Grealish will want to leave them. Now, obviously, there's been a few clubs that have been in for Jack Grealish, but as you all know, he is one of our priority targets, is Jack Grealish. Now, obviously, he's been at Aston Villa for several years. Up until this point, he's spent the entirety of his career with Aston Villa. Jack Grealish has been an Aston Villa player since the age of 6. Obviously, he's been in their senior squad since 2014. And I've got to make an admission since then, Jack Grealish has become an integral part of Aston Villa's team. He was key for them, getting promotion to the Premier League. He was also key for them progressing to the Carabao Cup final. Jack Grealish has still got a contract with Aston Villa until 2023. Now, obviously, Jack Grealish can play as an attacking midfielder, and he can also play as a winner, and he is only at the age of 24. Now, I think, when we played Aston Villa earlier on in the season, when we did draw with them 2-2 at Old Trafford, I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had a private chat with Jack Grealish, over the possible move to Manchester United. Now, obviously, revert back a couple of months ago, which was March. Obviously, Jack Grealish had that incident with his £80,000 Range Rover. This was hours just before he advised people to stay at home, due to the coronavirus pandemic. So, reflects on the incident with his Range Rover. He had been fined £150,000, and Jack Grealish, of course, had come out and made a public apology. And reflects on the incident in general, there was doubts about him coming to Manchester United in the summer, and there was doubts about him leaving Aston Villa in general. You had Paul Merson coming out the other week saying that Jack Grealish will leave Aston Villa, 100% will leave if Aston Villa are relegated. But do you think Jack Grealish is worth £80 million? And that is the question. And I think, want to sign Jack Grealish, regardless of whether Paul Pogba stays or whether he goes, and that, we still want to get Jack Grealish on the board. So Villa do remain ruthless over their valuation. They want £80 million, so even if they're relegated, they still want £80 million, and his valuation will not go down. But we may not get him now because we may not pay £80 million, because we want to get him, don't forget, for £50 million. Some reports have said, he could cost us maybe £60 or £70 million, but he is well Premier League proven, is Jack Grealish and that. So that is the latest news on him. Now, let's delve into news on Corentin Tolisso from Bayern Munich. So I have been reading recent reports, and it does say that we've expressed an interest in Corentin Tolisso. It says reportedly back in the January transfer window, we tried to get him on loan, but obviously we didn't. Now we're seeing Corentin Tolisso as an adequate replacement for Paul Pogba because Paul Pogba could still be leaving Manchester United. Now Corentin Tolisso is 25 years of age. He's predominantly a box-to-box midfielder. My element of concern about him, is that he's very, very injury prone. He has sustained quite a few injuries as a Bayern Munich player. Now, this has been his third season with Bayern Munich. This has been his third season. I think, when Bayern Munich did sign him, he was the most expensive player in the Bundesliga and Bayern Munich's record signing. Bayern Munich did pay, around £35 million for the player, and he did sign, a 5-year contract. So he is under contract with Bayern Munich until 2022. He's under contract with them until 2022. During his time with Bayern Munich, he's won a couple of Bundesliga titles. I think he's also won the DFB Cup as well. Don't forget he won the 2018 FIFA World Cup with France. But he hasn't really been that good at Bayern Munich, let's be honest. Before he was at Bayern Munich, he was at Lyon. Began his footballing career at Lyon. Did very, very well at Lyon. I think he scored like 29 goals in 60 games for Lyon. Scored around 21 goals in 116 in Liga 1. But he was a revelation at Lyon. So Bayern Munich, is only the second club so far in his playing career. So do you think he'd be a good, adequate replacement for Paul Pogba, Corentin Tolisso? But to be quite honest with you, I don't really know much about the player. But it says that Manchester United are interested in him. So that is the latest news on him. Now we'll delve into news on Paul Pogba. So according to El Equipe, which is a French outlet, they have come out and said that Juventus are on the verge of re-signing Paul Pogba. Now, reportedly, Juventus are willing to include Adrien Rabiot as part of the deal, so they can get him for the cheaper fee, basically, because we said we want £100 million at least if we had to sell him this summer. Now, I think Juventus are hoping to get Pogba for around £72 million. But like I said to you yesterday, this swap deal will not materialise of, Pogba going to Juventus and Rabiot coming to Manchester United, because I don't think we've got any interest of, recommending Adrien Rabiot in. Now, Adrien Rabiot does want to leave Juventus, like he has confirmed, and don't forget reports were coming out not too long ago saying that he allegedly told Juventus that he was on strike and he was refusing to return to Juventus training, but he actually laughed these rumours off, did Adrien Rabiot. So basically he said it wasn't true. This has only been Adrien Rabiot's first season with Juventus. Obviously, Juventus did get him from PSG last summer on a 3 transfer, and Adrien Rabiot did sign, a 4-year contract or 4.5-year deal. He's under contract with Juventus until 2023. Juventus have been known, though, for getting quite a few players on free transfers in recent years. They got Ramsey, don't forget, on a free transfer. They also got Emre Can on a free transfer from Liverpool. Yes, they did in that. And I think Adrien Rabiot's confirmed that he does want to make a move to Everton, because I think he's held some negotiations with Carlo Ancelotti. And Adrien Rabiot, can't even really get in the Juventus team anyway, because Maurizio Sarri prefers the likes of Matuidi and Alan Ramsey and Miralem Pjanic, ahead of, Adrien Rabiot. So his appearances have been limited, let's be honest. But Adrien Rabiot did spend the vast majority of his career with PSG, because he was at PSG for several years. Don't forget he broke into their senior squad in 2012. And since then, he did become an integral part of PSG's team. He won a total of 18 major honours during his time with Paris Saint-Germain. I think Adrien Rabiot would be available for a reasonable figure. disregarding being part of any swap deal. I think, you'd be able to get Adrian Rabiot probably maybe for around 25 or 26 million pounds. And he's only in his mid-20s. He's 25 or 26 years of age. But I don't see Adrian Rabiot coming to Manchester United. I really, really don't see it happening. I think we also inquired about his availability when he was at PSG and that. So there you go. Obviously, Juventus are willing to offer up to 3 of their players for Paul Pogba. There hasn't only been talks of Rabiot coming in as part of a swap deal. There's been talks of Federico Bernardeschi. There's been obviously talks of Aaron Ramsey. Maybe quite a few Manchester United fans would take Aaron Ramsey. He hasn't been so good at Juventus. Obviously, Juventus got him on a free transfer last summer from Arsenal. He's Juventus' second highest paid player is Aaron Ramsey, just behind Cristiano Ronaldo, and he's got a contract with Juventus until 2023 as Aaron Ramsey. But I think we'd take him, reflecting on the good pedigree that he's got in the Premier League, because Aaron Ramsey did endure 11 years with Arsenal. Obviously, he made like 362 appearances in all competitions and scored 40 goals, I think it was. Oh, no, 60 goals, 60-odd goals in 300-odd games in all competitions, but I think around 40 goals in just over 200-odd appearances. Arsenal did pay £5 million to him from Cardiff in 2008. And don't forget, we came close to getting Ramsey in 2008 before he went to Arsenal. And obviously that was back under the Alex Ferguson era. But yeah, there's been talks of Ramsey coming in as well. Obviously, was it a month or so ago? He says Juventus are willing to offer as Matthijs de Ligt for Paul Pogba. Miralem Pjanic also being mentioned as well. But there you go. But I did say, didn't I, if Paul Pogba is to leave Manchester United, I think he'll make a return back to Juventus, because Pogba did endure 4 good years with Juventus. But the vast majority of his performances with us since he rejoined have been totally comparison to his ones in Turin and that. But, some reports are totally contrast to others, because it actually, came out, was it a day or two ago now, and he was stemming from the Busby Babe report, and they said, that Paul Pogba wants to stay at Manchester United. Let's be honest, in recent weeks, it hasn't really spoken about, Paul Pogba wanting to stay at Manchester United, but it's just been talking about, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wanting Paul Pogba to stay at Manchester United, because he believes Paul Pogba can build a good partnership with Bruno Fernandes in our midfield, and Pogba and Bruno Fernandes have not yet had the chance to play together in our midfield. Pogba, like I said, and Fernandes in our midfield, you'd have Pogba in the number 6 or the number 8, and you'd have Bruno Fernandes, of course, in the number 10, which is Bruno Fernandes' predominant position now. And it's been contrast as well, because it came out, was it earlier on this week, saying, that Juventus are now no longer in for Paul Pogba. Juventus won't be able to get him in a straight cash deal. Let's put that into the equation. But it said, Juventus were no longer in for him, because obviously, they can't afford to pay the £100 million. They can't afford his wages, because it did announce that Juventus became the first Italian club to have their own cap salary. And it says they was only willing to offer contracts worth up to £150,000 a week. So there you go and that. And obviously, Real Madrid were in for him. It's still some reports saying that Zinedine Zidane's looking to hijack, Juventus' move for Paul Pogba. But he did say the other week, this was stemming from Marca, which is a Spanish newspaper, and they said that Real Madrid are no longer in for Pogba. The main explanations, again, same sort of thing. Real Madrid can't afford his wages. Obviously, due to the financial issues with the coronavirus pandemic. And also, too, Real Madrid have got other midfield targets on their agenda, such as N'Golo Kante and Eduardo Camavinga from Rennes. Real Madrid have got a lot of, players on their agenda anyway, because they are looking to do more business when the transfer market does open this summer. Real Madrid did recruit a good 5 or 6 players in last summer. Spent a good 200 odd or 300 odd million pounds on these players. They got Eden Hazard in, Luka Jovic, Rodrigo, Ferland Mendy, Eder Militao. So, they're the players, that they did recruit in Real Madrid. But they're also looking to get rid of players as well. So, they're going to generate money in that aspect. They're looking to get rid of Luka Jovic because they haven't been satisfied with him. They're looking to get rid of Gareth Bale. I've heard recent reports that Newcastle are in for him. Also, too, Karim Benzema is coming to an end of his footballing career. I think they're looking to get rid of Dani Ceballos on a permanent transfer. So there you go. But last summer, Paul Pogba said he wanted to leave Manchester United, and he said he was seeking for a new challenge. And he even publicly admitted that he wanted to leave the football club, but his preference was a move to Real Madrid last summer. The main explanation why his move to Real Madrid didn't materialise last summer was reflecting on the substantial amount we put on him, because we said last summer we wanted £180 million for Paul Pogba. This is what we had basically said. Real Madrid were not willing to meet that valuation. But last year, Paul Pogba was talking a hell of a lot about Real Madrid, about his dreams of playing under Zinedine Zidane and all of that. So there you go. This is what he was basically talking about. And Paul Pogba's agent, Mini Raiola, he's obviously, been working on getting his client a transfer away from Man United complete, at least in the last couple of years. He's held some talks with Real Madrid. He's also held talks with Juventus and that. We've been very, very critical, reflecting on some of the comments Mini Raiola's come out with since the turn of the year. I think Ed Woodward's also held some talks with Mini Raiola and that. So there you go. It's not only been Real Madrid and Juventus that have been in film. Like I said, in recent weeks, PSG have expressed their interest. PSG, obviously, have spent a hell of a lot of money. They've got the two most expensive players in the world in Neymar and Mbappe. And for PSG to get Pogba in a straight cash deal, they'd have to offload either Mbappe or Neymar to fund the move for Pogba. It also mentioned, Inter Milan were interested in him, and don't forget, Inter Milan have already recruited 3 of our players. Got young offers, Sanchez and Romelu Lukaku. Inter Milan, of course, have got Icardi out on loan at PSG. They've got Ivan Perisic out on loan at Bayern Munich, and I think Inter Milan did say they are looking to offload 2 of. They're looking to get rid of them on both players on permanent transfers. And maybe Antonio Conte is keen on reuniting with Paul Pogba and that. Barcelona have also been in for him in the past. But yeah, I think he'll stay at Manchester United still. Of course, Paul Pogba has been stepping up his fitness regime, which is very, very good news. Because he was recently training. Was Paul Pogba at the Cheshire Cricket Club alongside Lindelof, Maguire, I think, and Anthony Martial and that. But when the season does resume next month, Paul Pogba is going to be back. He is going to be back. So too is Marcus Rashford, because he's also been out of a back injury since January. Rashford's been visiting Corentin twice a week in the last couple of weeks. Obviously, to step up his fitness regime. I think it did say last time I read into it, Rashford was around 80% fit. But we're going to have a fully fit squad anyway when the season does resume and that, which is very, very good news. But obviously there was reports as well coming out regarding Paul Pogba saying, that we'd actually lowered his valuation from 150 to £100 million. So this is what it said Ed Woodward had done. But Pogba's only played 8 times this season. His appearances have been limited due to his injuries. The last time he played was on Boxing Day in the 4-1 win against Newcastle. And last time he started from the start was back in September. Pogba's revealed his plans ahead of his return. He's aiming to be the best player in the world. Because Paul Pogba's been infuriated, with the injuries he's had at Manchester United. Don't forget, Pogba's got 1 year left on his contract, exactly a year. But the club do have an option to extend his contract for a further year. So let's just put that into the equation. Like I said, Paul Pogba enjoyed a very, very difficult time under the Jose Mourinho era. Obviously, Paul Pogba got one of his best wishes when Jose Mourinho left. And, maybe you can say in reality we made a mistake getting rid of Pogba when he was younger, because we did have Paul Pogba under the Alex Ferguson era. But obviously, due to limited appearances, we had to let him go on a free transfer. Pogba's won 2 trophies with the club. That's the Europa League and League Cup that came in his first season. And I think Pogba's made around 140 odd appearances in all competitions and scored around 31 goals for the football club. So there you go. So there's still uncertainty over his future, but despite what recent reports have said, I still am convinced that Paul Pogba will remain at Manchester United for next season. I think also, with this coronavirus pandemic and that's played a big part in Paul Pogba, supposedly staying. Obviously, due to the financial issues. So there you go. If Paul Pogba is to perform well if the season resumes, and if he is to continue that next season, if he is still here, then we may consider, giving him a new long-term contract. So there you go. But there's been a few players in our agenda who could replace Pogba, like I mentioned. There has been talks of Saul Niguez from Atletico Madrid. He's been another player who could replace him. James Maddison's been on our agenda, but we won't sign James Maddison because I think he's happy at Leicester. So there you go. Now let's delve into the news on Jadon Sancho from Borussia Dortmund. So I've been keeping up to date of what's been going on with Jadon Sancho on a regular basis and that. So reports are saying that Manchester United are still leading the race for Jadon Sancho. Obviously, quite a few clubs have expressed their interest in him. Man United, Real Madrid, Barcelona, Chelsea. There's still some reports saying that Liverpool are interested in Jadon Sancho. Now, I'll replicate what I mentioned yesterday on one of my videos that I did regarding Jadon Sancho, because David Ornstein came out from The Athletic, and he says that the transfer fee for Jadon Sancho is fixed. But he did say that Borussia Dortmund will not sell Sancho for less than £100 million. Borussia Dortmund do remain ruthless over their valuation. They do want £100 million. Jadon Sancho, I think, by the way, did play in Borussia Dortmund's 4-0 win against Schalke yesterday. I think he came on as a substitute. I think he played the last 11 minutes, did Jadon Sancho, because obviously, he couldn't start because he had a calf injury, did Jadon Sancho. Now, the Evening Standard came out a couple of days ago, and, they said, we're only willing to pay 60 or 70 million pounds for Sancho. Obviously, that's not going to be enough to convince Borussia Dortmund to offload him. So, there's uncertainty over Sancho's future at the moment. Is he going to be leaving Dortmund this summer, or is he going to be staying at Borussia Dortmund for another season? Now, I was reading the Daily Express yesterday, and they said that Jadon Sancho has got an agreement in place with Borussia Dortmund ahead of the summer transfer window, and he will not decide his future until the end of the Bundesliga season, reportedly. But Jadon Sancho, of course, is aware of the speculation. Now, obviously, reports came out last week from the mainstream media, and they were saying that we're planning to sign Jadon Sancho next summer instead of, this summer. And it did actually say that Borussia Dortmund do expect him to stay this summer, because Dortmund believe that he will stay, obviously, due to the coronavirus pandemic. But the question is, can Manchester United afford Jadon Sancho? Can we afford him? But we've already confirmed, that we're not willing to smash our transfer record for the player. Now, obviously, it's already said as well that we're willing to offer Jadon Sancho the number 7. Like I said, Tino, we have got number 7 vacant at the moment, and we've had a lot of good number 7s up and down the generations. But I've got to say, I think Jadon Sancho, would go very, very well in our number 7. And I've already outlined the couple of main explanations why it would be beneficial for us to recommend Jadon Sancho in, is because he's well proven in the Premier League. He's got a very, very good friendship with Rashford. Like I said, Jadon Sancho did endure 2 years at Manchester City, but he had to leave Manchester City because, he didn't get any, first team opportunities. Obviously, when Manchester City sold him, they did make a good profit on the player because City only paid £500,000 for him from Watford. Jadon Sancho began his footballing career in London with Watford, and he was at Watford for several years and that. And now Jadon Sancho this has been his 3rd season with Dortmund. Got to say, since his arrival in Germany, he has been a revelation. Dortmund only paid, £7 million, or was it £8 million for him from Man City? So if Dortmund do sell him, they're going to make a huge profit on the player. Sancho's got a contract with Dortmund until 2022. But if Dortmund do sell him, then, City, I think, get around 15% of the transfer fee in that. But Dortmund do know how much of an imperative player that Sancho is. They do know that, how much of an imperative player he is. Obviously, Dortmund are known for being a selling football club because they have sold quite a few of their key players in recent years. Don't forget they sold Christian Pulisic to Chelsea. They sold Aubameyang to Arsenal a couple of years ago. Obviously, they let Ilkay Gundogan go. They let Mkhitaryan go. Kagawa. They let Ousmane Dembele go back in 2017 in Barcelona. They let Matt Hummels go as well. So, Borussia Dortmund let quite a few of their players go. But he's had a long-running transfer saga with Jadon Sancho. And obviously, Fabrizio Romano, who's an Italian journalist, who tends to be close to Man United as well. He basically said, did Fabrizio Romano, that Man United have been working on Jadon Sancho's contract. and we've been in negotiations with his agent for quite some time. We first expressed our interest in Jadon Sancho back in 2017. This was before he went to Borussia Dortmund, so we've been in for him for the last few years. We went in for him last year, but we didn't get him last year because, we had no Champions League football to offer. We had no Champions League football to offer and that. So yeah, Owen Hargreaves, you know, give his verdict on it. He believes if Man United can sign him, he can thrive into Wayne Rooney. Berbatov came out last week and said he'd be better off, staying at Borussia Dortmund because he doesn't maybe think, it's the right time for him to come to Manchester United. But Sancho is only at the age of 20 in that. But Dortmund have come to accept the fact that transfer fees will fall, but they still do want £100 million for Sancho and that. Like I said to if we miss out on Sancho, though, which winger should Manchester United sign? Because these cheaper solutions in Sancho, you already know the news on Rabbi Matonda from Schalke. He'd be a much cheaper solution than Jadon Sancho, with Rabbi Matonda. And I think we are planning to sign him if we do miss out on Jadon Sancho. So there you go. So yeah, that is the latest news on Jadon Sancho. Now, let's delve into the news on Erling Haaland. By the way, Erling Haaland got his name on the score sheet yesterday in Borussia Dortmund's 4-0 win against Schalke. As you all know, the Bundesliga did return yesterday in that. So reports are saying that, we will revive our interest in Erling Haaland if, he does become available. It also mentions that Real Madrid have expressed their interest in him. Now, don't forget, we was relentlessly linked. We was relentlessly linked with Erling Haaland in January. And like I said, it was a shame that we didn't get Erling Haaland in January because I think it would have been an Ole Gunnar Solskjaer type signing. Obviously, Solskjaer's worked with him during his time at Mo because it was around 3 years ago now that Solskjaer had given Erling Haaland his debut at just the age of 16 and that. Don't forget in January, Solskjaer and Ed Woodward went up to Norway to meet up, with Erling Haaland over a possible move to Manchester United and that. But it was a shame that we didn't get him on the board. And plus, he was a cheap solution. Haaland would have only cost us around £17 million. But I think there was a couple of main explanations why he decided to reject Man United and to go to Borussia Dortmund instead. Because there's been a lot of uncertainty over Solskjaer's future. And plus, we've been inconsistent for the vast majority of this season. Haaland, signed for Dortmund in January. He signed, was it like a 4-year deal or something like that? Because he's under contract with Dortmund until 2024. Dortmund paid around £17 million for him. Reportedly, Haaland's got a release clause of 60-odd million, 63 million, I think. I was hearing reports before saying that will not be activated until 2022, his actual release clause. And that. But I think he's got like 13 goals in 12 appearances this season before the football season got suspended for Dortmund. In total, he's got 40 goals, including the goals he scored when he was at Red Bull Salzburg. So yeah, we could still revive our interest in Erling Haaland because, we are in search for a striker and that. But like I've mentioned on my other videos, as players over the years, that we came close to signing, but we didn't sign. So we've missed out on, signing quite a few players in that. So there you go. So that is the latest on all of the transfer news. You saw my video that I did yesterday and that. I've been keeping up to date with what's been going on with Raul Jimenez in the last couple of days. So I'm very, very sceptical that Man United will sign him. You know the situation with Odion Ighalo. You know the news on Moussa Dembele and that. So I do keep you up to date as much as I can and that. Like I said, it's going to be interesting to see how Ole Gunnar Solskjaer approaches, the summer transfer window. Obviously, Solskjaer did confirm the other week that, the transfer window this summer will be completely different to, recent transfer windows and that. But I think Solskjaer, is still convinced, that we can recommend the right calibre players in to the football club because Solskjaer's obviously, said he wants to make around 3 or 4 signings in the summer. I think it did say he wants to make around 3 big signings and the players we want to get is Bellingham, Sancho and Jack Grealish. And them three players are going to cost us around £220 million and that. But yeah, there's a lot of uncertainty going into the summer transfer window. But a lot of clubs are going to face unprecedented summer transfer windows due to the financial issues with the coronavirus pandemic and that. Solskjaer believes we need around 3 or 4 signings to become title contenders next season anyway, like I mentioned. Obviously, Ed Woodward, he's still backing Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Obviously, he said on numerous occasions this season that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's job is safe, even though we have enjoyed our worst start ever to a Premier League season. And I was hearing that, Solskjaer's going to get around 200 odd million pounds to spend this summer. Ed Woodward came out quite a few weeks ago now, and he did say, we will not do business as usual in the summer transfer market. So basically, he ruled out big transfers to Man United, but he has obviously, made a transfer promise to Solskjaer. What players should Man United get in the summer? Who would be the right calibre players for the football club? We know the areas where we need to strengthen up. We need a centre forward. We need a right winger. We're also in search for a midfielder. There's still some reports saying, that we're looking to recommend a centre half in, even though we've got a lot of centre halves in the team and that. I give you the news on Fred yesterday. Fred had come out and, revealed his wish ahead of the summer transfer window, and he's advised Solskjaer to sign. He's advised Solskjaer to get some Brazilian players at Manchester United because we haven't had a long history of Brazilian players. I think Fred's only the 7th player was Brazilian to represent Manchester United. There's only 2 Brazilian players in our squad at the moment. That's Fred himself and, of course, Andres Pereira. But I think Solskjaer still wants to continue the policy of recruiting young British talents to Manchester United like he did do last summer. He wants to continue that policy in that. And I've got to say, we have improved in the market under Solskjaer. I think things have changed under Solskjaer and I think things have improved. Yeah, we've improved in the market. What I mean is I think we've been a bit more sensible with our recruitment, and Solskjaer, of course, has got the players in that he wanted to recommend in and that. Solskjaer, has enjoyed 3 transfer windows at Manchester United and he spent £220 million on 5 players. The 5 players he has recommended in, though, have been very, very impressive. This summer it will be Solskjaer's 2nd summer transfer window as Man United, and it will be his 4th transfer window in total, and that it will be his 4th transfer window in total. By the way, I think, these 2 young players, 2 young upcoming players that are incoming, like I mentioned to you. I think Joe Huggle from Sunderland's coming in for around £250,000. Also, to Mark Jawado from Barcelona is supposedly coming in. And reportedly, we've agreed to pay just over £1 million in compensation for him and that. So there you go. But like I said, Solskjaer has been at Manchester United 17 months now almost. So he has been at the football club over a year. He's also got rid of a lot of the deadwood since he got recommended in, which is very, very good news. But he's planning on getting rid of around 6, maybe even 7 players this summer and that. So we'll generate money, I've already gone through with you, the players that are going to leave Manchester United in the summer and that. But Ed Woodward's got a lot of trustworthy in Solskjaer because don't forget he's no longer interested in getting a director of footballing and that. So anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. That's everything to update today. And take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.